Hi everybody, today we're going to be doing another demo with the app Procreate, and this time we're going to be learning how to make animated rotoscopes. So the first thing I'm doing is importing my video file into Procreate. So I find it in my Photos folder on my iPad, and then I'm going to go to that share icon in the top right hand corner and scroll down to select the Save to File option. Next I'm going to select the Save on my iPad option and find the Procreate folder and then press Save in the top right. So from there I'll be able to return to my Procreate app, and on the top right I'm going to press Import and find that file that I just shared to the Procreate folder. So once the video is imported, you're going to see that every frame of that short video clip has actually been put onto a different layer inside Procreate, and it's broken down into 58 different layers. And now that that's all set up, I'm going to set my background color. I've created a new layer to draw on, and I'm going to line that layer up right above my very first photo frame. So layer 1 is going to be the photo. I can select them both with the arrow check mark on the right hand side on the layers, and then I can be able to see my photo behind where I'm drawing. Just make sure when you start drawing that you are drawing on that blank drawing layer, layer 2, above the photo frame. So now I'm just going to put this into a bit of a faster time lapse here, and you can see me just on that same drawing layer going through and filling in all the outlines of the part that I want to animate. So at the beginning, I tried to do the background too. You'll see later on, I end up eliminating the background and just doing the figure in order to make it a more simple, effective animation. But you can see here right now, I'm just going through on that layer 2 drawing layer and filling in all of the outlines that I want to animate. So once I'm happy with that drawing, I'm going to duplicate my layer that I just drew and move that up above my layer 2 photo frame. And this is where I'm going to now start to look through the layer 2 photo frame underneath my original drawing and going to make some adjustments to that drawing. In some cases, I don't need to adjust very much. Sometimes the photo frame from one to the next is fairly similar with just minor adjustments. Like here, I just need to move my feet and my shins. But sometimes I need to adjust the majority of the drawing, and in that case, you might find that it's better to just start from scratch rather than to duplicate the layer. So play around with it and see what works for you. But I, for the most part, would duplicate the drawing that I just finished, move it above the following photo frame, and then make adjustments rather than redrawing the entire thing. So now comes the slightly tedious process of going through and drawing every single photo frame. In my case, I had 30 frames that I wanted to draw that are going to be played in sequence and then reversed in order to make that GIF style animation. And this really does take quite a lot of time, which is why ultimately I ended up deciding to simplify my animation. I decided to remove those background scenery details and to just focus on animating the figure, because animating every single flag was going to be biting off more than I could chew. So I'll just show this layer by layer process now in a very quick time lapse, because it took me hours to make this seemingly short, small animation, and so we don't have enough time for watching all that in detail in the tutorial. But some advice that I would have is just to keep it simple, especially if you've never done this before. I tried to just do too much in my first go, and so I decided eventually change the background color, make my outfit a little bit more colorful, and then keep the background more simple. And I did have to go through and fix all those first 8 or 9 layers that I had done in the original design, but in the end, I was happy that I decided to make those changes, because it really did create a much more effective final product, in my opinion. So after you've been animating for a while, you might want to see, like, I wonder if this is working, I wonder what it's going to look like. And one of the cool things that Procreate has when you have imported a video clip into the app is if you look at the bottom of my iPad screen, you can see a play and pause button there. And this will actually play all of your layers in Procreate in a fast, like one after the other sequence. It can be hard to go through quickly enough in your clicking to be able to get an impression of what it will actually look like when it's animated. And so they have that option at the bottom there when you can press play and press pause. So I ended up noticing after I had been animating for a while that on, like, I think layer 27 and layer 28, I had actually a couple mistakes that when played in sequence, it created kind of a jump cut appearance, and I didn't like that. And so I was able to view that in advance before exporting my file and make those fixes, make those adjustments before I had finished. And it just made it easier for me to make those revisions. So in my case, because I wanted to make that reverse walk as well, once all my layers were drawn, I ended up duplicating them and putting them in reverse order as layers above my final drawing frame that I completed. And so it went up to 30 and then reverse from 30 back down to 1. So finally, when I'm finished all my animation and ready to export, I can press that little wrench in the top left and select share, and that gives me several different options for how I can export this clip. And specifically in this case, because I am making an animation, if you select at the bottom section the share layers option, you can choose between animated GIF, animated PNG, or animated MP4. So animated GIF could be useful, but it's hard to import that into iMovie if you want to add it into another video like I am doing for this tutorial. And so exporting it as an animated MP4 could be the most useful option. So thanks for listening and happy animating.